Welcome to the Ultimate Muslim Man Podcast.
ليس للإنسان إلا ما سعى وأن سعيه سوف يرى ثم يجزاه الجزاء الأوفى.
بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على خير الله Muhammad ibn Abdullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the Ultimate Muslim Man Podcast. I'm your host Joshua Angel, and this is the show for the real Muslim men out there who are driven for excellence because they know, man, that this blessed ummah is starving for men like us. Today, I don't want to fill your ears with 20 minutes of ads with things that I don't buy and that you ain't gonna buy. I don't use them, and probably you won't either. So let's not waste each other's time, man. I want to get right into it. I want to teach you 3 ways, inshallah, the only 3 ways that people ever actually change their lives, man. How they ever actually transform their lives, make that change, that pivot, that commitment to make a difference in themselves and their families' lives, inshallah. And it's things that you already have within you, alhamdulillah. You ain't got to go out and buy a program. You ain't got to go out and spend a whole bunch of boatloads of cash to get this information. It ain't some secret thing, dude. It's real simple, man. And I want to share with you a story to drive this point home. All right, I'm going to give you a little bit of context. Get that right, dude. Sorry, I took some pre-workout, man. And your boy, woo, let's go. Bismillah. All this energy, man. That's good stuff, right? All right, so 8 years ago, I married my wife, alhamdulillah. She was 8,000 miles away in Kenya. I was here in good old Nashville, Tennessee. Good old Nashville, Tennessee here in the States. And we went through the whole immigration process. 2 years, man. 2 years of that immigration process before she was able to come to America and step foot on American soil. Walillah alhamd. Point is, man, is that shortly after she got here, real early into our relationship and our marriage, man, she needed some shoes. All right? She needed some shoes. And I was financially struggling, terribly struggling at that time. So much so, dude, that we needed to dig in the couch of a couch that didn't even, it was given to us. I think it was a gift to us. Looking for change, man. And I had 2 sandwich baggies, not the good ones, not the big old ones that you could fit a watermelon in it. I'm talking about the little itty bitty sandwich baggies, dude, of coins. And we went down to the local Wally World, aka Walmart, and we found the cheapest shoes we could, man. $5 each. And my wife needed a couple pairs. The thing that was so terrifying, man, is that I didn't think I had enough money for 2 pairs of shoes that cost $5 each. These things were the cheapest shoes I had ever seen in my entire life. And I was so intimidated and so embarrassed, man, that I didn't even go to the checkout with the person, with an actual cashier, because I was afraid that he or she was gonna tell me, hey, sorry to break it to you, man, but you ain't got enough money for these 2 pairs of shoes. Again, $5 each. So we went through the self-checkout, and the entire time, man, I'm just begging Allah and making istighfar and just begging my Lord subhanahu wa ta'ala to make sure it's enough money for me to give these shoes to my wife that she so desperately needs. I mean, she had holes in her current shoes, subhanAllah. And the thing is that I promised her, hey, you come to America, I'm going to give you an amazing life, inshallah. I'm going to provide for you by the permission of Allah an amazing life. And here I am, barely able to spend $10 on my wife. And it was the most emasculating thing that I had ever gone through in that moment. And alhamdulillah, my wife didn't show 1 ounce of, disappointment. I mean, she showed nothing but gratitude. May Allah reward her, She didn't complain, no nothing, man, alhamdulillah. But in my heart, the core of my being, I was like, man, you're nothing, dude. You ain't no man. You can't even give your wife $10, 2 pairs of shoes, $10. You're stressing out over that, dude. And at that moment, I said, I'll never ever put my wife through that situation again. I'll never feel this way again, nor will I ever put my wife through this situation ever again, bidnillah, by the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the reason why I share that story with you, man, is not because I'm trying to play victim here and get some, sympathy out of you. That's not this podcast. If you're looking for that type of information, content, you might just want to head on down the road, man. Don't let the doorknob hit you or the good Lord split you. But the reason why I share that with you, man, is because the number 1 reason why people change and actually make a commitment real commitment, long-term, life-changing commitment is desperation, all right? When you're in a point where there is no other option, zero option mentality, I can't live like this another moment. When you use that pain as fuel and you become an alchemist and you turn what is worthless into something that is literally priceless, something that is useless and something that is valuable, that can be the fuel that changes your life forever, inshallah azawajal. I'll give you another example. Most people, unfortunately, they don't take their health seriously until they're in a moment, until they're in a position, a situation where they have to get their act together, otherwise they're gonna die, all right? You're fat, overweight. I ain't politically correct, you're fat, dude. It is what it is. You got bad habits, almost done. And you go to the doctor's office and they say, hey man, with your current lifestyle choices, your current habits, your lack of fitness, you see food and you eat it. Your favorite food is seafood. You see food and you eat it, dude. You know, you're not going to live much longer. Wallahu alam. Obviously, you know, Allah knows best who's going to live and who's going to die, but just projecting based upon your current lifestyle habits and choices and decisions and routines and lack of fitness and lack of caring what you put in your body and just stuffing your face with garbage, you continue down that road, man, and that compound effect is it's gonna lead you to an early grave. In those moments is when some people, not even most, well, almost done, but some people, they wake up and they snap out of it. And they go, enough's enough, man. And this is the moment that I change. But you should, you know, unfortunately, we shouldn't have to let it get to that point in our lives where you've gone so hard down the wrong road that you have to pivot and you have such a long journey all the way back just to get somewhere average, let alone somewhere, you know, that's above average, excellence, world class, you know what I'm saying, etc., etc. So that's the first reason, man. First reason why people change is from desperation. The second way is through inspiration. And most people, inspiration doesn't really work. It's more of a transitional period where you start with desperation and then eventually it leads you to inspiration. And again, we'll use the fitness example because it's pretty clear, inshallah. A person is a few hundred pounds overweight. They're obese. They're insecure. They have self-esteem issues. You know, their joints ache. Sucks getting out of bed. You get winded walking up a flight of stairs. You know, almost done. You get the point. And you decide to make that commitment. That desperate moment hits you so hard, you say, I'm gonna make a change. And then you start dropping that weight. The weight starts going down on the scale. Your pants start fitting better, alhamdulillah. All the good things that come with taking care of your health. You know, your mind is just sharper, right? Because it's not filled with Cheetos and Doritos and, you know, Krispy Kreme donuts, right? Real nutritious food that makes you sharp, alhamdulillah. And then you get to a point where it's like, okay, now I'm inspired. Now, what is my potential? What am I capable of? I've gotten this far. I've made this much progress. And you go from a point where you're no longer desperate because the situation is proved, alhamdulillah, to where it's a point of inspiration. But you always remember that desperate moment. For the times that you don't feel motivated, for the times that you don't feel like getting up and doing what you got to do and putting in that work, you go back to that moment because you go, is that where you want it? Because the moment you make that decision, you're opening up that door to lead right back to where you started. So that's number 2 is inspiration. And number 3, which I think is one of the most critical points in order to actually make a difference in your life, is selflessness. A lot of people talk about SMART goals. They say you gotta set SMART goals, dude. And although I somewhat agree with what they say, I think there's a core component that's missing in SMART goals, and that is selflessness. Make it more than about yourself. The reason why I say that is because we lie to ourselves all the time, dude. How many promises have you broken to yourself already today before listening to this podcast? How many times have you broken promises to yourself? Already, just today. You said you were going to get up at a certain time, you didn't do it. You said you're going to read this much Quran, you didn't do it. You said you're going to start praying, or you're going to pray this, you're going to hit the gym, you're going to eat this, you're going to start that new business, blah, blah, whatever it is, dude. And you ain't done it yet, and you're breaking your promises. What if you said those same things to another individual that you had high regard for, they were esteemed in your eyes, you love them, you value them, and you want them in your life. And every day, multiple times a day, 10 times a day, 20 times a day, 50 times a day, you made a promise and you broke it to them. You made a promise and you broke it to them. They wouldn't want to be in your life. It's a lot easier to lie ourselves and negotiate ourselves out of what we're supposed to do than it is to do that to somebody else, especially someone that you value and you care about and you actually want in your life, which is why I say you should make your goals selfless. Obviously, they're going to be self-serving to some point, but include that. You need to stack reasons, right? You have to put everything in your favor, stack as many reasons in your favor, the desperation, the inspiration, and the selflessness, so that you actually make that change. And if we go back to that example, that story, man, of when, I was having to struggle buying my wife a pair of shoes for $5. Again, I made a promise to her. And I'm not going to look my wife in the eyes and make an excuse and say, hey, man, I broke my promise. Sorry. It's just the price is too much to pay, i.e. not the monetary price, but the price of discipline, hard work, consistency, perseverance, resilience. That price, right? Skill sets, learning, picking myself up after I failed 1,000 times, right? That price, I'm not going to look my wife in the eyes and say, sorry, babe, all those promises I made, come to find out, that price was just too much to pay. So you really got to make it more than about yourself. Maybe it's your kids. Maybe in those moments where you feel like quitting or you don't feel like doing it, you ask yourself the question, what if my children were to make the same decision? What if I seen them and I could hear what's going on in their minds? And I know that this is good for them. I know that this is good for them. But they're having that conversation, that negotiation where they're going to quit. It's too much to pay. It's too much sacrifice. It's too much investment. How would you feel? Would you feel hurt and disappointed? Would you feel proud of that? Would that make you proud as a man? Probably not. So then guess what? That goes both ways, dude. It's a two-way street. Your kids are looking at you the same way. You don't think they know that you quit? You don't think that they know that you made excuses? They still love you, inshallah. But you guys both know Dad's a quitter. Dad gave up. We ain't worth it to him. And for a man who has any type of pride, and any type of ghira and any type of concern for his children, he ain't gonna let that fly, man. So, dude, it's real simple. Desperation, inspiration, and selflessness. And, hey, man, write it down. Get out a piece of paper and a pencil and just jot down every single pain that you could think of, man. All the reasons that it hurts if you continue down this path, these habits and these choices and these decisions that you've been making. If they continue to compound, what's your life going to look like in the next 5 years? And then the inspiration. What could your life look like if you just made these simple decisions every single day? And you just made that decision in advance that I don't care what the price is, as long as it's halal, I'm fitting to pay it, inshallah, in full. Early and on time too, alhamdulillah. Just, take your life seriously, man. Take your life seriously. So, dude, that's the podcast, man. That's episode number 1. Again, I'm not trying to fill your ear with any type of ads that, again, I don't use the stuff, and you're probably not going to buy it. So I work on a purely value exchange. That's a value exchange. I give you good information, tactical information, and in return, you share the podcast, bidni Allah, with a friend, with a brother, something like that. If the podcast sucks, tell me it sucks. Give your brother nasiha. And you ain't got to share it, bro. But if you did get value from today's podcast, if it got you thinking, if it made you laugh a little bit with my Tennessee accent or, whatever else, because again, them ads, dude, man, that annoys me, dude, when someone talks about ads for the first 20 minutes and it's so irrelevant to the podcast. I'm like, dude, this isn't even relevant to your audience. What are you doing? So I hate that, bro. So I ain't going to do that to you, alhamdulillah. So again, value exchange basis, man. I give you value. And inshallah, in return, bidni Allah, you share the podcast. And with that being said, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. I want the best for you guys. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, dude, hit me up. Instagram, The Real Josh Angel. You can email me at ultimatemuslimmanacademy@gmail.com. And dude, like that being said, man, stop stressing yesterday, stop fearing tomorrow, make today great. And I'll see you guys in that next one, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.